Namaste. Hi, hello, and good morning to all my dear students. A lot of students are still joining the session. I'll just wait for one more minute. Okay, I think we are good to start. Yes. Yes. Most of the students have joined. I think we're good to start now. Good morning once again to all of you. Welcome to my session on Unacademy platform. This session is special exam series day 1. In this session, we will be discussing some of the important points that most of the students wanted me to answer. That is, how do we present costing and financial management paper in CA examination? Most of the students who will be watching it live now are from July attempt. Even if you're a November attempt student, it's totally fine. This is relevant for all the examinations, whether July or November or even next year May. It is about cost accounting and financial management, exam presentation, and for that whatever background preparation that we need to make. We are about 2-3 weeks away from our examination. Some questions that normally won't come to students 6 months before exam, 3 months before exam, are about this paper presentation. We are more focused on attending the class, learning the subject, getting the knowledge, and we are very less focused on examination or paper presentation, because the exam mode, exam mindset, people do not feel it unless we are just 2 weeks, 3 weeks away, correct? For examination, for example, this July examination, every student is now worried about how to present the paper now, which is about 3 weeks before the examination, 2 weeks before the examination. Now, please remember, this session is to build confidence in you, okay? And when I explain some of the points, some of the tips and inputs from my end, if you have a different way of learning, and if you have already adopted to that way of learning, do not change your way of learning all of a sudden, correct? That will create panic, right? I will give you my inputs, which are definitely going to be of great use to most of you. If some students have already taken 1 or 2 attempts, and if you have got good result in costing FM, and if you have your own style of preparation and presentation, don't change your way all of a sudden, okay? Yes, don't get panicked if I say something new now which you are not aware of. Accept it, adopt it, and move forward. You still have more than 2 weeks for costing exam, about 3 weeks, so there is still scope for you to correct your mistakes. There is definitely scope for improvement from every student, correct? Yes. So before we begin today's session, myself, CA Dhananjay Bhave, I am from Bangalore, Karnataka. I teach cost accounting, management accounting, and financial management for CA, CMA, CS, and ACCA students. On Unacademy platform, I will be handling CA Intermediate, Cost Accounting and Financial Management. Once this session is over today, for this weekend, that is coming Saturday and Sunday, I have already scheduled a lot of revision classes on cost accounting and financial management, especially applicable for our July examination students. The important topics: marginal costing, standard costing, and budgetary control is going to be covered, and also the theory related to marginal, standard and budgets will be covered in the costing session. And in FM session I will be discussing the important theory areas of financial management. So please follow my Unacademy account. You will get the entire schedule, and all these classes will be free live classes, special classes. All of you can attend these sessions, and these are all happening this Saturday and Sunday. Yes, with that, let's begin our today's session. Some of the most common challenges that students face in costing FM examination. These are the questions that I would love to answer in next 1 hour. First one is whether 3 hours is enough. And when I ask this question, the common answer is no. Now, how do we handle the time challenge in examination? First question. The second, will theory really help in exam, or can I leave theory and go? Why students have this notion is costing and FM as such, it is registered in our minds that it's a theory paper, it's a practical paper, right? So should we really prepare theory in costing and FM? Is it going to help us in examination? And how do we handle theory problem? How do we handle the problem of theory basically? Yes. Third, presentation. How do we present our answers in exam? How important is presentation? If my main answer is correct and if I don't present it neatly, will I really get full marks? How important is presentation? That will be the third point. Fourth would be about compulsory question. I know a lot of students already have this point in their mind that compulsory questions are normally tough, difficult, and compulsory question is the first question in question paper. So normally you start your answer with that. So there is a chance in first 15-20 minutes you are a little tense because there is this preconceived notion in your mind that the compulsory questions are normally difficult. Let's answer that also today. And then working notes, assumptions. To what extent should we write notes, working notes, assumption? How important are they in examination? And last one, what to do in first 15 minutes. Now, when I say first 15 minutes, I am talking about the 15 minutes in examination before the actual exam. They give you question paper, they won't give you answer sheet, correct? You will have 15 minutes to read the question paper. Yes, answer book will not be with you. What to do in those 15 minutes? How important, how crucial is that first 15 minutes? And how do we make the best use of those 15 minutes? All of this will be answered in this session. Okay, with that, let's begin. Before I start with my first point, are you all up for the session? Can I get a thumbs up from all of you? Yes, good. Fantastic. First of all, sir, 3 hours is not enough. Point number one, let's first accept the rules. Even the student who is going to get all India first rank when the results are out, remember, even he had just 3 hours just like you. So do not complain about this. The rules of the game is set. Everybody is going to get only 3 hours. Okay, I hope I am audible to you now. Yes, all right, yeah. So please understand, the one who is going to get first rank also had same 3 hours. The problem with most of the students is they don't understand that from first minute itself they need to increase the speed of writing. Most of the students go very slow initially, very slow initially, and after 1.5 2 hours they realize that they have just completed 40-45 marks and it's already 2 hours done, and they just have one balance hour. Yes, and they suddenly realize that there is so much to write in last 1 hour, and that creates a problem. That creates a problem to lot of students. Please understand, from the beginning you need to improve your speed. Don't go very slow initially, right? I know some of the students, they present their answers so neatly in initial 1.5 hours that they may take 1.5 hours just to complete first 30-35 marks, and suddenly they realize that there is so much to be done, and then they get into panic mode, and last half an hour the way they present the answer sheet, definitely they're not going to get marks. So please remember this rule. From first minute you have to be, even if you find question paper very easy, paper can still be lengthy. It can be easy and lengthy, so keep your speed from the beginning itself, right? Now, how to measure whether you are in the right track or not? See, my point number 2, keep this ratio in mind. Marks to minutes ratio is less than 1:2. What it is? 100 marks paper, 180 minutes, which is 3 hours, which means if you do marks to minutes ratio, it is 1:1.8. It is not even 1:2, correct? Which means a 10 marks question you should be able to complete in 18 minutes if you go by 1:1.8 ratio. 18 minutes, 1:8. Yes. Now, sir, is it possible that all my 10 marks questions will get over within 18 minutes exactly? Answer is no. That I also know very well. Some questions may take 25 minutes, but at the same time, some questions will be very easy, very simple, very less time consuming. You may finish in 10-15 minutes also. But keep this in mind, on an average, you should be better than 1:2 ratio. What you should do at the end of first hour in examination, you should check how much of the answer sheet is done. If 1 hour is done, which is 60 minutes, at least 30 marks, 30, you should have completed. If not, in the second hour itself, you have to improve your speed, so you avoid the panic in last 15 minutes or last 30 minutes. Many students do this check in exam, but not after first 1 hour. They check this after second hour, or after 2.5 hours, they check how much is done. There is no use, correct? You need to check at the end of first hour itself whether I am done with 30 marks at least. If I am done with 30, I am going towards 35-40, fantastic, continue in the same speed. 2 hours done, then also you check, you should be done with at least 60 marks, 60-65 marks. If that is done, then understand your last 1 hour also will go comfortably. Yes, right. Now some students are sending me questions. We will have all the question and answers discussed at the end. Yeah, right. Next, third point I already explained. After 1 hour and 2 hours, please pause for a second and check how much is done. Next, don't stay with same questions for too long. And the last point is, do once, try again, then please leave and go. This is applicable to all practical papers. You solve a sum, you don't get the answer that you are expecting, like balance sheet did not tally, right? Process account you prepared, it is not tallying. Budget you prepared, you are not getting the answer as expected. Joint product by product, they have given the total joint product, joint cost. You need to apportion it between all the products. You did some workings and now you have apportioned the joint cost. but the total of the joint cost apportioned to all the products is not equal to the grand total of the joint cost. May happen. So you know that you should get a particular answer most of the times. If that is not happening, try once again. That is, recheck quickly where you have gone wrong. Then also, if you're not getting convinced, please leave that question, leave some space if needed, go to next sum. What most of the students do is they take up a very big question at the beginning. They should complete within say 15-20 minutes, a 10 marks question. They spend 20-25 minutes, they don't get the expected answer. They keep checking what has gone wrong, and they spend almost 45-50 minutes in completing the first sum itself. You know, when you take more time for one particular question, you are doing injustice to something else in the question paper. You are doing injustice to something else in the question paper. What is that injustice? Excessive usage of time for one question. Eventually, at the end of third hour, you will give very less time. And that too, in costing and FM, last question is theory question. And you will have very less time, and you write theory in a very unacceptable manner. You will not get good marks for that. So try once. If you are not able to get the expected answer, go to next sum. At the end, suppose entire answer paper is done within 2 or 45 minutes. You still have 10-15 minutes with you. Come back to that question which was half done. Right? Now you have 15 minutes time with you, and that is the only question pending. Do whatever you want to do. There is no problem. You are not compromising anything because 100 marks paper is attended. 90 marks you are very happy. This 10 marks question was half done. If you can get something and complete the answer, well and good. Even if not, 90 marks you have comfortably attended, not to worry. Okay, so don't stick with one problem for too long. Next, will theory help in exam, or can I leave theory? Why is this question that can I leave theory? Because most of the times in costing FMCA inter exam, theory is the last question, and it's not a compulsory question. So in the balance questions, you can leave that, correct? In costing, theory has the weightage of 20 marks. The last question normally 20 marks. 20 out of 100 marks paper. This is about 20%. And in FM, it's the last question, 10 marks. And sometimes they can ask a small theory question in other practical area also. 8 marks sum and a 2 marks theory question is also possible. So about 10 to 12 marks out of 60 marks FM. Remember, FM is only 60 marks. Now, even this will come to roughly about 20%. Now, there should never be this question in a student's mind that is theory really important. 20% is the weightage. You should not even ask whether theory is really important. It is important. It is important. Right. Now, point number 2. Theory gives you the time advantage in exam. What do I mean when I say time advantage? Suppose there is a 20 marks theory question. Definitely it won't be one question for 20 marks. It will be 4 or 5 questions. Correct? You know that. You have seen the question papers. Or 3 marks or 4 marks is the question, theory question. That means you need to answer 5 theory questions or 4 theory questions, as the case may be in costing and FM. Now, you reply on chat box to me. The time required to answer 2 practical sums of 10 marks each to get 20 marks is definitely more than answering 4 theory questions of 5 marks each. Am I right or wrong? Definitely right. Because theory always takes less time. Most of the times when they ask you difference between 2 things, correct? You just have to prepare a table, or if they ask you to explain types of something, you can prepare a chart. It is easy to complete. It takes less time to complete. So this is the advantage that you have if you prepare well for theory and go. Suppose you are done with 80 marks and you have only 20 minutes at the end. 2 hours 40 minutes is done. You have only 20 minutes with you. Now, in 20 minutes, you can complete the theory question, which is 20 marks theory question, but in 20 minutes, you cannot solve two practical problems of 10 marks each. Correct? So do not neglect theory during your revision. In examination also, I encourage every student to attempt that theory question. The reason is the next bullet point. There is a chance that they may come with one very difficult or extremely lengthy practical question just to eat time. Yes. In that case, if you have theory backup, then you don't have to worry. A student may be very well prepared. Entire syllabus is very, very well prepared. But in examination, as they say in cricket, in 1 over, 1 bouncer is allowed. So institute may ask one difficult, one unexpected question. Correct? Maybe a CA final kind of question, which is a very easy CA final question, may come to you as a CA inter question. For you, it may be very difficult. Correct? All of that they may do in the practical questions area. If you are prepared with theory, then you have a backup. You do not have to worry about the tough or lengthy practical sum. Correct? You have this great advantage if you are prepared, to face theory. So please do not leave theory. Right? And how institute sets question paper. See my next point. They cover full syllabus via theory questions. What does this mean? If they ask contract costing practical sum, process costing practical sum, joint product, they may ask a theory sum. By this way, they will ensure that process costing is also covered, joint product is also covered. Right? So if they are not selecting one topic for practical questions area, they can always choose that question for theory area. So many question papers I can show you. Contract costing, process costing, joint product, service costing, everything comes in practical area. Non-integrated accounting, that is cost accounting system, they ask a theory question and they don't ask any practical sum. In next attempt, practical sum from cost accounting system and contract costing, there is no practical sum and you have a theory question. So institute has given a syllabus. So in the question paper, they will definitely try to cover the full syllabus. So by way of asking theory questions, they can say, look, we have covered. So the topics where practical questions are asked, that theory may not come. So theory, they may choose the balanced topic. So do not do this selective preparation that I'll be good only in practical areas and I'll face the paper and anyway theory is an optional question, I will leave and go. This is not a preferred option according to me. Right? Yes. And I know most of you have already done this mistake of not studying theory in costing and FM. Correct? You would have just practiced all practical sums and say that my revision is done. I know a lot of students have already done this mistake. Yes. Therefore, in the coming week, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I am doing special classes only on theory, costing, marginal costing, standard costing, budgetary control, practical as well as theory, and financial management. I have scheduled 4 sessions of only theory, 4 sessions of 1 hour each, 4 hours. If required, we will extend the class about 4.5 hours. We will be spending on entire financial management, only theory. So you can join those sessions. You can follow my channel. You will get the notification this Saturday, Sunday, and few classes even on Monday. We will be discussing theory in detail. Okay? Yes. Next, presentation, how important it is. I know a lot of students who are very good in subject concept. They have very good subject knowledge. They remember all the formulas, but the way they present, that will not attract full marks. Many students, though the answer is correct, they will not get 10 out of 10. They may just get 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 because the answer is not presented appropriately. So please ensure that you present it in a systematic approach. correct? The person who is going to read the paper, you don't know who it is, and you will not be sitting next to him or her to explain what you have written. Your answer sheet should be self-explanatory. Ensure that you focus on good presentation. But a note of caution from my end, see my first bullet point, I need systematic writing. I do not want a very, very beautiful presentation. Some students are overly concerned about very, very neat presentation, right? I want systematic writing, systematic presentation. It should be understandable, right? You do not have to worry too much about beautiful presentation. What do I mean by beautiful presentation? Some students intentionally go very, very slow from the beginning, just so that their answer sheet looks good, looks beautiful, looks really nice, correct? You won't get 5 marks extra for beautiful presentation. Please keep that in mind. Yeah, good presentation, systematic presentation is needed. Extreme beautiful presentation is not expected from you. As long as the person on the other side can read and understand, that is more than enough. Keep that in mind. Yes. Next one, time management from the beginning. I told you, do not be very, very, very concerned about very beautiful presentation from beginning. You will waste a lot of time, and then you will face tough time at the end. In the last part of the examination, last 15-20 minutes, you will have very tough time. And what if you start with beautiful presentation from the beginning and your last 3 pages are very badly presented, and what if the evaluator starts checking your paper from the end? Correct? That should not happen. So maintain a consistency. Average systematic presentation is what is expected from you. Yes. Charts, tables, bullet points, can I write? Answer is always and always yes. You don't have to worry. Instead of writing from left top of the page to the right bottom of the page, please make paragraphs, make bullet points. If the answer can be presented in tabular form, chart form, please use that. You're not going to lose marks for doing that. In fact, that will give a better weightage to your answer sheet compared to others, right? All working notes should be in one place. Very important. Many students do this mistake. 2 working notes, main answer, 2 working notes. This is not good presentation. Let all working notes come in one place. Let the main answer come in one place. You might have noticed whenever ICAI releases their suggested answers, you see the main answer is first and all working notes are in one place. Or all working notes are in one place and main answer is at the end. You also should follow the same. You also should follow the same. Ensure, if you want to start with working note, do that. There is no problem. But ensure that all working notes are in one place. All working notes are in. Yes. Next. There is this fear about compulsory question. What is that fear? Sir, many people say that compulsory question is tough, it is difficult. What to do? I want a reply from all of you on chat box. Have you come across this from your friends who have already taken the exam? That compulsory question is always difficult? Yes or no? Yeah. Please understand. Yeah, I can now see some of the students saying sometimes yes, but not always. That's true. Please understand that is the first question in question paper, correct? And if institute keeps that question paper little above the standard, I won't call it as tough, little above the standard, they can play with your confidence level. Correct? They can play with your confidence level. And later they can give easy questions because your confidence level is already very low. So you'll not be able to perform well. It's like losing first 3 wickets in first over itself. Right? Now the 4th batsman who comes will be little slow in his performance that day because he knows that there is a 50-over match and they've already lost 3 wickets in the first over itself. Correct? Therefore, what you can do, read the first bullet point. Do not read it in first 15 minutes. Look, this is a compulsory question. Anyway, you have to answer. Compulsory question should compulsorily be answered. Correct? Why do you want to read it in first 15 minutes? Right? So then what is the use of first 15 minutes? That is for you to read the balance questions and decide which one to attend, which one to leave, which one to start with, which one to do later, which is your easy comfort zone and which is that average and which is that tricky difficult zone. Correct? The 15 minutes should be used to decide from where to start in balance part of the question paper. Compulsory question you have to anyway answer. There is no choice. Correct? And when you come to answer compulsory question, you will anyway have to read. Instead of reading that in first 15 minutes, and in case if the question is difficult in the compulsory area, that will disturb your confidence level. Correct? So instead of that, do not read the compulsory question at the beginning at all. Read balance questions. Decide, because there in the balance question you have an option to leave one question. Decide which one to leave and then decide which is the order, whether to write question first, question 4 first or question 2 first. Decide that. Once that is done, right, maybe after 1.5 to 2 hours, then you come to compulsory question. That time you read. Even if it is very, very difficult, no problem. You have already completed 80 marks of non-compulsory area and you have done it very well. Even if it is difficult, that's not going to spoil the whole answer paper. It may spoil the last half an hour. That's okay. 2.5 hours you have already completed 80-85 marks. Right? Number 2, do not attempt it first if you don't want to. That's okay. A lot of students ask this question to me. Can we start directly from second question, third question, fifth question? Definitely yes. You don't have to start your answer paper from first question, sub question A. You start with 2, 3, 4, 5, anything. That's okay. You don't want to start with first question because it is there in your mind that it is normally difficult. Don't answer. Don't start with that. There is no compulsion. Why to worry? Next, even if you don't know the answer, my third point, attempt it. Remember, when institute says that it's a compulsory question, you have to compulsorily attend it. Whether answer is right or wrong, don't worry about it. It may be wrong, but at least attempt it. Attempt it. Do not leave the compulsory question. Sir, I do not know anything. I can only do one working note. Please do that. Please do that one working note, right? Do not leave it. Even if you don't know anything, write question number 1, write A and write one line. Whatever is there in the question, that only you write and come. Attend it and come. Don't leave it. Okay. Last one, as I told you, answer this at the end. If you're not very convenient to take up difficult or challenging questions in initial hour, keep it at the end. You can always answer it at the end. There is no problem. If you complete 80 marks in first 2 hours or 2 hours 15 minutes, and if you have 45 minutes with you to answer compulsory question, no problem. Now even if it is difficult, you have extra time, comfortably you can answer it at the end. Right. Next, coming to working notes and assumptions. How important working notes are? Number 1. Number 2, should we write note every time? My first bullet point, my first question is this: when to write note? Sir, sometimes we feel it's very obvious. Should we really write a note? Sometimes we feel writing note is needed, but in institute suggested answer, note is not written at all. So I'm confused when to write a note. Please understand this. If something is not given in the question and you are making an assumption, please give a note. I repeat, if something is not given in the question, you are making an assumption, please give a note. Example, tax rate. Tax rate is not given in the question. You want to take it as 30% and work out the problem. Something is not given in the question and you are making an assumption, please write a note. Second, something is given in the question, but you have decided to ignore it, then also give a note. I repeat, something is not given in the question and you have made an assumption about it, give a note. Something is given in the question and you are ignoring it fully, give a note. What is this, sir? Say for example, cost sheet preparation question. They have given donation to charitable trust 5,000 rupees. Now, donation given to charitable trust will not come in cost sheet, but the data is given in the question. Now look at this. This is second category. They have given something and you are not going to take that in the main answer. So please give a note. Understanding? Depreciation. They have not mentioned the method of depreciation. You have done it using straight line method. Give a note. So this will clear the confusion. Something is not given. You have made an assumption. Give a note. Like inventory, FIFO or weighted average. They have not given the method name in the question. You have assumed it as FIFO. Give a note. Okay. Other case, they give something and that you are not going to take, please give a note like donation. So what to write in the note? Just say donation paid to charitable trust will not form part of cost sheet. Simple. You don't have to explain in detail. You just tell them that dear validator, donation was given in the question and I know that while preparing cost sheet, donation should not be taken. Accordingly, I have not taken. Simple. Right? Second point, how important are working notes in examination, especially in practical papers? Please understand, most of the times your final answer may not match. Final answer may not match or not as per expected answer. You still want to get marks, then working notes will save you. You need to remember this. In a professional exam, marks are allotted to your approach. Marks are allotted to the way you try to solve the problem, irrespective of whether you are successful in solving the problem or not. This is very, very important and I want to spend little extra time on this. Most of the students are worried when their balance sheet doesn't tally, when their process account doesn't tally. Please understand, if you have done all the workings necessary to do that process account systematically, say for example, it's a process account problem with opening work in progress and question is under FIFO method, first in first out method. You have done process account properly. You have done step 1, statement of equivalent units properly. You have done step 2, computation of cost per unit properly. You have done step 3, valuation, but in the valuation, one last item, goods transferred to next process, you have done a small mistake. Because of which, when you substitute that number in your process account, total may not tally. Now, should a student really panic about this? Look, this is a 10 marks question. 2.5 marks is allotted to process account, working note 1, working note 2 and working note 3, which is your step 1, 2 and 3, right? So even if the final number is not matching, if you have done all the steps, if you have followed a correct approach and if you have written notes, assumptions wherever necessary, you can still get 8 or 9 marks out of 10. Please understand this. If the final answer is not matching, there is no need to panic. That's what I told you at the beginning of this session itself. Do the problem once. If it is not matching, try once again to find out where is the mistake. Then also if it's not happening, please leave it and go to next question. You might have done 80% of that answer properly. Somewhere instead of taking 1200, you might have taken 12,000 and that is possible. You might have taken 12,000, that is possible, or you might have written 1,200 in calculator, you might have taken 12,000 and that's why the balance sheet is not matching, the process account is not tallying, correct? Possible. In ratio analysis, in financial management, they will give you ratios, they ask you to prepare the balance sheet. Now to prepare the balance sheet, you have to do at least 7-8 working notes. I'll take an example. Sales given, GP given, you may have to find out inventory, then you may have to find out debtor, then the total current asset, inventory, debtor is ready, cash or bank balance, the balancing figure, then you may have to find out creditor, From there, say fixed asset, share capital, reserves, net worth, debentures, and so on. All of this is your working note 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct? 7 working notes and then the balance sheet preparation. Now, if all your 7 working notes are correct, then you have already got 7 marks. Each working note will have a mark. You see my third bullet point, marks allotted is for each line, is for each step. Don't think that correct answer is equal to 10 marks and wrong answer is equal to 0. This is the biggest mistake that many students make. Don't be under this impression at all. If you have made this assumption already, you are wrong. Most of the answer sheets, if you have seen, marks are allotted for each line, each working note. I'm not talking about theory papers, I'm talking about practical subjects, costing and FM specific. Working note 1, that is correct, they will tick there and allot 1 mark. Next working note, that is correct, half mark. Next step, half mark. Like this, if the whole answer is correct, the total of all that 1 plus half plus 1 and so on may come to 9.5, may come to 10. They will not even total that and write 9.5 or 9 out of 10 for that sum. They only keep giving 1 half, 1 half, and so on. When the whole valuation is done, finally they add all of this. That means each note, each working note, each ledger account that you prepare in between, each formula that you write has marks weightage. Right? I hope this point is clear to all the students. Can I get a reply on chat box? Are you all following? Yes? Very good. Yeah. Now remember, each step has a marks. Now the flip side of this is, if you skip writing one step, you will lose that mark. If you don't write the formula, you will lose the mark. I know a lot of students in examination, inventory turnover ratio is equal to cost of goods sold by average inventory. This formula they won't write. They directly write inventory turnover ratio is equal to the number divided by number and they get the answer and they continue from there. You have lost half mark. You will get half mark for that working note because you have shown the number, but you have not written the formula, you will lose half mark. Now final answer may be right, wrong balance sheet may tally, may not tally, but you have lost half mark even when your inventory turnover ratio is correct. And why did you lose the mark? Because you did not write the formula. Please understand, if you do not write the formula, if you directly write the numbers, you will lose mark. At CA inter level, they will see all of this. At CA final, they may not think too much about all of this, because most of the times in CA final, the numbers that you calculate using the formulas will be already given in the question. They would expect you to apply those numbers to solve something else. Correct? There it is more of application based learning of costing and financial management. Here it is more of calculation, computation, right? And here there is weightage. And as much as possible, avoid using short forms. Most of you have this bad habit of writing 20K for 20,000. You write 20K, 30K. This is good only on Instagram, on WhatsApp, but definitely not on examination, not on exam answer sheet, please. Please avoid this. You should never do this. I hope this is clear to all of you. Yeah, 20K, 30K, 300K, 400K. Please don't even practice that during your revision. Yeah, then the question of writing in exam will not even arise because you practice that way. In exam also you tend to do. And if a evaluator, okay, if he is 60 plus and if he doesn't understand what is K, then he may not give you marks. Correct? Nowhere institute has given a guideline saying K is accepted as thousands. Right? You don't want to write, then on top of your answer itself, you write all rupees in thousands. Then you write 30, 40, 50, 20, anything, that is fine. That is accepted way of presentation. But 30K, 40K, 25K is definitely not accepted way of presentation. Please keep that in mind. And remember, I know most of the students who come and say, sir, I don't know how I got 79. none of my balance sheet in exam tallied, none of my final answers are exactly as per institute's suggested answer, then also I got above 70, above 80. All of that is because of working notes. I have presented all my answers properly and steps. My approach was very good. Probably I got marks for that, though my final answer did not match. Please understand, working notes are part of your main answer, and working notes, according to me, they have more weightage than your main answer. You might have noticed in costing FM, the main answer is only one table. Main answer will take only half page, but the working notes will be for 1.5 pages. That means you tell me which is more important, the 1.5 page area, the working note area. Please don't use short forms. Do not skip writing the formulas. Write your notes and assumptions systematically. Working notes will help you when the final answers are not matching. Yeah? Right. Last point. Just because I said this about working notes, I know what some students do. They make an assumption the way they want and then say, sir, I have given a note. They should give me marks. Before making any assumption, please ask yourself, is this a sensible assumption? Yeah, they ask you to work out under FIFO method and you give a note that the below sum is worked out under weighted average, and then you do the whole sum and then say, sir, I have given note. According to my note, my answer is correct. No, question is very clear. They want you to do under FIFO. Then saying that I'll give a note and I'll write an assumption, you will still lose marks, right? Some students do this mistake. They do not read the question properly. In FM, you have these kind of questions. Very first line, question says, ABC Limited, comma, a tax-free company, comma, planning to invest 25 lakh in a machine, 5 years project, etc., etc. Now, student will start with statement of CFAT, cash flow after tax, particulars year 1, 2, 3, 4. He will write PBDT minus depreciation, PBT minus tax. So now he will search for that number, percentage, 30%, 25%. The student, if he doesn't get the percentage number anywhere, he will directly write one note. It is assumed that tax rate is 30%. Very first line of the question itself, they have mentioned clearly that it's a tax-free company. How can you make an assumption? Correct? When they say tax-free company, that means you should understand. You cannot now make some assumption and then say, sir, according to my assumption, my answer is correct. They are not going to give you marks. Please read question carefully. I always say this in my regular classes. Properly understood question is half solution. If you don't understand the question properly, half solution is already wrong. Please read the question carefully. And in theory, in practical paper, not everything is just numbers. Sometimes in contract costing, they say 2/3. They write in letters 2/3. And you will be searching for how much is certified and you don't get anything. You assume everything is certified. Read the question properly. You can underline, you can mark there in the question paper. Only thing you should not do on question paper is writing things, writing formulas. Marking, underlining, marking a dot or a tick is all accepted. So don't make assumptions without reading the question properly. Next. So what to do in first 15 minutes? As I've already told you, do not read compulsory question. You will anyway have to read that compulsory question when you go there to solve that. Correct? So why to read it initially? Anyway, you can't decide whether to write or not. That's a compulsory question. You have to write. You have to write. Correct? So read the balance. Read the balance. From question number 2, you read it. Yes. Second point. Decide the question to be left in the balance. Balance, when I say non-compulsory area, you decide. Suppose in costing, you have question number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct? 5 questions, 20 marks. And out of those 5, you need to answer any 4. So 20 marks into 4, 80 plus the compulsory. So compulsory is another 20. Leave the compulsory part. Balance part, you read properly. You read properly. Then decide which is that question which you are not comfortable with. Which is the question that you want to leave. you please leave that question. Complete, balance everything. Say you're not comfortable with fourth question, then write 2, 3, 5, 6. Then come to compulsory area. The non-compulsory should be handled first, because there you have something to decide. You have an option to decide which one to write, which one to leave. So why to read compulsory question? Anyway, it's compulsory. You have to read when solving. In first 15 minutes, you are not reading it to solve. You are reading it to understand the question. You are reading it to decide which one to write, which one to leave, and from where to start. Correct? Once they give you answer booklet, you should be very clear in mind that you are going to start from question number, say 2 or 3 or 4. You decide the order. See, my next point is decide the order of writing. You have decided to write 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have decided to leave the last question. So between these, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, among these, decide which one to write first. Write your best answer, whichever you know that this question I can get 20 out of 20, both questions 10 marks each, I can answer comfortably. Start with that. Okay, first to write second. I'm saying as an example, if I'm a student, first I'll write second, then I think fourth I can do well, then third, then the last one, because I'm not very comfortable. Once this is done, I will do the compulsory part. Yeah, this planning should be done in first 15 minutes. Right. Next, allot time in mind for each question. My fourth bullet point. What is this? When you read the question, some questions may be very easy but lengthy. Some questions may be very difficult but not so lengthy. Correct? You allot time in your mind. Now, I have to complete question number 2 and question number 3 in first 1 hour. And then I will do question number 4 and question number 5 in next 1 hour 15 minutes. And then in last 45 minutes, I will do the compulsory sum, the compulsory question. So this planning, this time allotment should be done in that first 15 minutes. Some students, I know, they read the question paper in first 15 minutes and they start doing some calculation in their calculator or start worrying that paper is difficult, etc., etc. They start staring at each other and give expression. You will scare the other person also. There is no much allotted for all this drama. That 15 minutes, productively use it. If you ask me, that 15 minutes is the most important time, not the 3 hours. The first 15 minutes is more important than 3 hours, because that is when you're going to decide how you are going to use 3 hours. Correct? You need to keep your energy very, very high. So in that first 15 minutes, even if there is a question which you cannot answer at all, remember what I have told you, one bouncer is allowed in every over. Correct? In cricket match. So one tough question, one difficult question, one question which you cannot answer is also allowed. If you read second question and if that is that question, leave it. Anyway, I have told you that is that bouncer. From third you can answer everything. This is where preparing theory well will help you, that even if a practical sum is extremely difficult, you don't have a problem. Leave that. Do the balance part. Yes. Last one, stay till last minute of exam. There is no heroism in coming out early. Okay, yeah, stay till the end. You never know, as in, I'll use your own word. Sir, suddenly one point flashed, suddenly one point flashed and I wrote and came. This happens to many students. I don't know why it will flash in last 5 minutes, but stay there till the end. Right? There will be one or the other question where you might not have done proper working note, or you might not have given note or assumption. Even if you complete the answer in 2 or 45 minutes, stay there. Just review your answer sheet properly. Wherever you think one more note can be written, one more assumption can be written, please use that time. Okay, there is no fun in coming out early. Yes, right. So these were the points that I wanted to share with you. Now it's time for question and answers. If any of you have any questions to ask, those who are watching this on YouTube live, even you guys can post your questions. I have kept even that screen next to me. I will answer those questions as well. Yes, Harsha has a question, sir. The confusion to which comes first, which comes after is probably taking more time. That even made me cut the answer written. How to avoid this? For this, you need to practice, Harsha. When you read a question in your mind itself, before you start writing the answer, okay, you have to frame your answer. I always do this in my regular class. I spend a lot of time in reading and explaining the question, and then I tell my students that look, this is how our answer is going to be. I'll do this as my first working note. Using that number, I'll do second working note. Using that, I'll do third working note, and finally I'll get the main answer. This flow of activities, this flow of my working note 1, 2, 3, 4, you should decide. This has to be framed in your mind, then only you should start. You should not start working note 1 without knowing your working note 2. Remember this, very important. You should know what will be your working note 1, 2, 3, 4 and the main answer. This whole flow should be there in your mind, right? For example, you are solving a capital budgeting problem. First, now the main answer is NPV positive or negative, correct? Now to get NPV positive or negative, your main answer will be statement of NPV, year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, CFAT, discounting factor, DCFAT, final answer plus or minus. Now, how should I start? Remember this, I should first work out depreciation. That will help me in my working note number 2, that is statement of CFAT. For that, I have to check whether PBDT is given. If PBDT is given, is the tax rate given? If both are available, then I know my second working note will be PBDT minus depreciation, which comes from working note 1. Then PBT minus the tax given in the question. If not given, if I have to make an assumption, that note should come before that statement, correct? This framing of your steps, this framing of your answer should happen in your mind. I hope this is clear to you now. Don't start the answer with working note 1 hoping that you will get working note 2 eventually. You should have all this structured in the mind and then start working note 1, 2, 3, 4 and it should go in that flow. Yes. Saurabh has a question, sir. Which one should I write first in FM echo paper? Should I write echo first or FM first? That is up to you, but you can allot your time this way, 2 hours for FM and 1 hour for economics. If you think you can write theory in a good speed, this will work, 2 hours and 1 hour. But if you think you are a little slow in writing theory, then give little extra time for economics, say 1 hour 15 minutes and 1 hour 45 minutes for financial management. But remember, even in financial management, you have a theory question. So if you take that as 10 marks theory, so FM echo paper is 50 practical, 50 theory. That means now you can allot it as 1.5 hours this side, practical areas of FM, 10-15 minutes for theory of FM, so 1 hour 45 minutes, then balance 1 hour 15 minutes for economics. Saurabh, I hope this clarified your doubt. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone has anything to ask? Please go ahead. I'm okay to take your questions. Though I've come to last slide, no problem. I've extended the class. Not to worry. If you have anything to ask, you can ask. Yes, there is one more point. Sir, what to do after the examination? After the examination, forget that there was that examination. Simple. Once you complete costing paper, once you come home, understand the paper is over, you have no idea what is costing. You don't even know the spelling of cost and management accounting. You only have to think about the next paper. I hope this point is clear. I know a lot of students, after their examination, they go home and then take the photo of that question from the question paper and send it to me and then say, sir, I have written this way in exam, is it correct? Now, if I say correct, it won't make a difference. If I say it is wrong, it won't make a difference, correct? Once the paper is over, please do not think about that paper again. You are wasting your time. You are doing injustice to next paper. After costing, after FM, FM is the last paper. After that, I know you will anyway celebrate. Correct? But after costing, you still have lot of papers. Correct? Once the examination is over, forget that there was that examination. Simple. So when you go to exam hall, tell your family members that when you return, that subject book, that subject notes, that costing subject book notes should not be there on your desk. Ask them to keep all of that somewhere else. When you come, you should come with a fresh mind to start the next paper. Do not worry about the paper that is over. By crying, you will not get extra marks. By worrying, you will not get extra marks. Remember this. Okay? Yes. Chaitanya has a question: how to prepare cost sheet even though we have prepared in exam 10th sum? It's okay. I'm not able to get your question clearly. Chaitanya, can you reframe your question, please? Prajwal has a question, sir: how to cover entire costing in 1.5 day before examination after law paper? Prajwal, please understand. Divide this total number of hours that you have before costing exam after law paper. Okay. Suppose you have 13 hours or 12 hours, right? 12 hours divided by number of chapters. Now you know how much time you have, right? Now itself you are about 2.5, 3 weeks away from your costing paper, right? Now itself, when you are doing your final round of revision, mark all such questions which you want to read one day before exam. Okay, mark with some special character, hashtag your favorite special character. I know. Do mark all the hashtags, right? This is what you should do one day before exam. Don't start from again first question, which most of the time will be very easy question in every chapter. Do not do that. Okay, so the best thing to do is now, when you are doing your last round of revision, mark those questions that you want to study one day before exam. That should be only 5 or 6 questions per chapter, and mark those pages which you want to revise, say important items or formula page. Those things only you mark. Those things you complete first one day before exam. After that also you have extra time. Then do those areas where you are little weak and revise some theory. That should be more than enough. Okay? Yes. Saurabh has a question. Sir, if we want to attempt all practical questions at one go, including economics practical sum, is it no, this is not the allowed way. Please do not do this, Saurabh. I know in economics also sometimes they ask some calculation based question, the GDP related computation based questions. Please don't do this. Keep entire FM in one place, entire economics in another place. Do not mix these two. Okay. If you want to write FM first, right, and in the mid, if you decide not to continue with FM and do economics, right, pause there, go to economics section, after that and come back here and then complete your FM. Don't do FM echo together in the order. Please don't do that. That is my suggestion. Okay. Yes. Chaitanya says, sir, 2 or 3 adjustments will make cost sheet problems difficult most of the times. Chaitanya, and to all the learners who are watching this session, though I have planned a couple of topics for revision in this week, if you have any specific topic in your mind for which you want me to do the revision after the session is over, please share that in the comment section. Okay, I will read all your comments, all the students, and whichever gets highest vote, whichever topic that majority students ask for, I will do those revisions also. That will be special class and free class. All of you can join those sessions and we will do it in the coming week, Monday or Tuesday. Okay, yes, please put that in the comment box after I complete this session. I will read all your messages. Do not worry. If process costing, WIP related adjustments is where you want me to help, then we will schedule a class for 1 hour. We will discuss only WIP process costing in detail for 1 hour, not a problem. But you need to tell me what exactly you want. Maybe today, tomorrow, you please message that in the comment section. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining this special session. Please follow my channel on Unacademy. CA Dhananjay Bhave is my account name. I'm doing a lot of free live sessions, special classes this week, costing at FM. My schedule is already there on my account. If you subscribe, follow the account, you will get to know. And if there is any new learner who is using the app Unacademy platform for the first time, they can use the code YESHAS, 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 to unlock the classes. And please share your comments and feedback once the session is over. Yeah, thank you so much. I really enjoyed the session. I hope it is of use to all of you. We will meet again this Saturday, Sunday for all the revision sessions that I have planned. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.